into the field of developmental disabilities in 1975. I was a graduate student in psychology at the University of Maryland, Baltimore County. And one of the requirements for graduation was to do a field placement. But the one opportunity that caught my eye, and it was a bit misleading as a student there, was to go to Rosewood for field placement. And the superintendent of that institution came to speak to my class. He described Rosewood like a country club, you know, the bucolic setting in the suburbs, the rolling hills, the massive grounds, this, that, and the other. And you thought, gee, I'd like to go there. And when I went there, I discovered something very, very different. It was indeed a large, sprawling campus of very old, most of them, stone buildings, where many, many people were housed in a very congregate setting. From there, when I graduated from the university, I sought a job in psychology, found that those jobs were not particularly easy to find, but I had an in with Rosewood. I had come to love the people who lived there, and so I was happy to be hired as a staff psychologist at Rosewood. I think it was really hard for the men and women and children who lived there. Individuals were housed in buildings that, probably 64 people in a building, had a center hallway and two kind of dormitory setups on each side, so 32 people on each side of the building. A big dining room where folks ate. And life was very much dedicated to the group and not to people as individuals. They had, there was no kitchen in the building. The food was brought in from a central kitchen at the institution. It came by truck in big vats, if you will. And it was the most unappetizing. I mean, I was in another job when Rosewood actually closed, but when I went there in 1976, there were over 3,000 people living there. So you can imagine and when I left in 87, I think the population may have been down to about 1,500, I'd want to say. And then from 87 until it closed, and I don't know the year that Rosewood closed. All of those folks, again, moved into community settings. And that, because it had been, if you will, the flagship institution in our state, its closure, I think, had tremendous significance in the disability community. even remember the year, but there was a change in Maryland law that's prescribed that group homes and alternative living units for people with disabilities were to be treated as single-family dwellings. And that was a big step forward, and it really stopped communities from being able to thwart the development of housing for folks with disabilities. So that was a barrier. What I perceive as a step backward when you hear people talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion as if it's kind of a dirty word, if you will, that our society should no longer strive for that. And I find that terribly troubling after decades of people with disabilities seeking equity and inclusion and being part of creating a diverse community. Because it seems to me that if little kids become comfortable and become good friends or not such good friends with kids with disabilities, it takes away many of the barriers that present themselves as people get older and become adults. If kids grow up in communities that embrace people with disabilities, a lot of the problems that we faced 10, 20, 30 years ago go away. I don't think we will ever be able to completely advance until we support the people who support people with disabilities, if you follow.